Don't. Magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. So hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. know. You're so hypnotic, magical. I don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical.
welcome back here to Medford, Massachusetts. A lovely ceremony honoring the class of 2025. But as beautiful as that was, we are here for some racing today in the Hamilton pool. Two teams who have faced off already once this year at MIT's Winter Invite in early December. That was a meet in which the Jumbos prevailed on the men's side, while MIT took home first prize on the women's side. These two teams, two of the top teams in the country on both sides. On the women's side, MIT comes into today ranked 4th in the nation with the Jumbos in the 7th spot. On the guys' side, it's very similar. Jumbos do have the slight edge in 5th nationwide compared to a 6th ranking for the Engineers, who are making some noise over to our right here. These are two teams that know each other very well and are really starting to get into form. Jumbos have had up on the whiteboard on the far side of the pool since early October a countdown, the number of days until the NESCAC Championship, which is now under a month on the women's side. The number of days, of course, then to regionals and NCAAs. There is a clear goal for this Jumbos squad led by head coach Adam Hoyt, and that is to put numbers back on the banners like the women did in 2022 and 2023. The guys looking to do it for the first time since 2018, and we are just moments away from the opening event here. It'll be the women's 200 medley to kick us off. 2 heats of this one. The first heat will have both schools sending out 2 squads, their D&E squads respectively, before they send out their A, B, and C squads in the second heat. Here you can see the 4 squads in this first heat. In lane 2 will be the Jumbo E squad, lane 3 the MIT D, lane 4 belongs to the Jumbos D squad, and in lane 5 will be the MIT E squad, as we are just seconds away from opening up this meet. But before we do that, a trophy going to be presented. The Flores Wet Trophy being given out to the senior with the most aggregate points, or the team with the most aggregate points at the end of today. So something to keep track of as we move along here in Medford. Seconds from kicking off this opening meet here. Crowd really starting to fill in as the runners take their marks for Heat 1. Reminder, this will open up with the backstroke, then the breast, butterfly, and the freestyle to close it out. 25-yard pool, so it'll be out and back for each length. Some technical difficulties here with the speaker. And it looks as if that forces Madison Hayberg off her block, as both teams starting to lock in here and the intensity only building. Backstrokers getting into their marks here. And we are underway here in Medford as they surface here right at the 15-meter mark. Pretty even through the first half length. At the turn, it looks to be Hayberg with a slight edge. And she will surface with the longest underwater has about a half body length lead as they head off for the first change off. Entering after her will be Sydney Stash for the Jumbos, who seem to be in both first and second in this heat. Stash here on the breaststroke, starting to make some significant ground and touches up, having done 25 just under 40 seconds in. Jumbos with about a full body length lead here with their D squad on the MIT D squad. Both E squads about even at the halfway point. Jumbos tap home just over 58. MIT about a half body length back. Into the water here for MIT is Sydney Shun. For the Jumbos, Valeria Strohmeyer. And Shun is starting to make some distance and catching up that gap rather quickly. Strohmeyer with a slight lead, but it's going to be pretty much even as they hand off to the freestylers. Claire Bailing enters the water a half step back of Natalie Tang. And those two are going to go for the win in this heat. Bailing and Tang even here with 25 to go. Tang now with a slight lead as they come towards the wall. Stroke for stroke, they are going to be within about a tenth of a second. And it's going to go in the end to the engineers, out touching the Jumbos there by a matter of about a tenth of a second. A phenomenal opening heat here. And in the end, MIT takes first, and they will get fourth as well with their E squad. Jumbos pick up second and third in that heat. The top time, 1:49.66 for the engineers. Still waiting on an official time for the Jumbos. D squad looks as if the touchpad might not have worked all the way there, but a really enthralling opening to this meet. Getting ready here for the second heat of this event. Each team gonna have 3 squads, Jumbos in lanes 6, 4, and 2. MIT in 1, 3, and 5. And we are off here in heat number 2. And the engineers away well there. That is Kate Augustin, their star junior, who has a half body length lead at the turn. A great underwater there from Augustin as she is really pushing the pace out quickly. And she will hand off with a sub-26 opening on the backstroke. Hands off there to Sarah Bernard, the freshman, who is continuing right up where Augustin left off. She will turn, and it is quickly becoming a 2-lane race in the middle. Both teams' A squads out well. For the Jumbos, that's Quincy Wheeler on second. And she is quickly catching up the gap. Hand off there to Catherine Skelly in against Annika Naveen. Those two are clearing away as we head into the butterfly. Naveen starting to make some more ground up on Skelly, who's just got to stay with her. Jillian Cudney will close for the Jumbos against Ella Robertson, the superstar sophomore for the engineers. Almost a body length and a half lead for Robertson as she flies into the pool. Skelly trying to catch back up, but it might be just too big of a lead. Skelly with a nice underwater, but it's not going to matter because MIT is running away with this one. They will take this second heat and the points that come with it rather comfortably. A comfortable win for the engineers in the women's 200 medley. And a really, really good time there for the engineers. 1:42.29 for MIT. That is a phenomenal time. Actually, that is now under the B standard, the first time that MIT has done that this year. An NCAA qualifying time for the engineers. Jumbos also got in under the B standard with a 144.10. So impressive performances for both squads. Now it'll be the guys, each team sending out 4 relays. So this will be an interesting heat with each team's D squad in it respectively. For MIT, that D squad has a bit more experience. A grad student in Aaron Zhu to open it up before Jalen Evans, the senior, Louis Avonde, the freshman, and Alvin Sy, the junior. For the Jumbos, it'll be Evan Wang, Bora Callis, Cole Aguirre, and Nicholas Teduris. And the backstroke leg underway to open this one up. Zhu versus Wang, and they're pretty much even with 15 to go. Now Wang starting to make a little bit of a gap, and he'll hand off to Callis. Lead of about 4/10. Jalen Evans in the pool for the Engineers up against Callis. Callis on the turn will now come for home. Evans looked to have made up some of the gap in that first half. Aguirre waiting to go against Avonde. Jumbos with about a half body length lead. 0.18 is the gap at the halfway point. And a great start here for Avonde, who has already caught up and passed Aguirre. Avonde just continuing to fly as he will come in here, a 23-second butterfly lap there for the Engineers, who are flying out and good. Nicholas Teduris going to try and catch Alvin Sy, but he's going to have to put on something special in this last 25 to do so. Sy continuing to motor home. Teduris with a fast lap, but it's not going to make a difference because a very impressive time for the Engineers, who come in under 137 with their D squad. And a question being asked to Adam Holt about a potential DQ as we get set here for the second heat of this one. Where you want to pay your attention is in the center. Lanes 3 and 4, MIT's A squad with a 127 PB on the year. And for the Jumbos, it's their A squad in lane 4. Eric Lundgren, Emma Adams, Ethan Schreier, and Soren Ervard running an all-senior squad here in the senior meet. As we tend to what seems to be a little bit of a technical issue with the touchpad in that 5th lane. Head coach Adam Hoyt going to try and deal with that here. We apologize for the delay. And it's really a difficult challenge, more so for anyone else than for those backstrokers who really have to lock in mentally. They were about seconds from entering the water, only to get told that they have to wait here. Jumbo's team making some noise here in support of their relay squad. As Hoyt places down that hold for the backstroker. And it looks like we're just seconds away from being able to go once again. Looks like we are just about set to go as the backstrokers will enter the pool here. Lundgren, who had a PR in the backstroke last night in Maine up against the base Bobcats, will lead off this A relay for the Jumbos. Not a great start there for Lundgren, but he comes out of the water with a slight lead on the Engineers at the 50. Emmett Adams waiting for the exchange here. He holds the Jumbos program record in the breaststroke in both the 50 and the 100, and he'll enter the water with a slight lead. And he's gonna look to build it really quickly here. Up against Thomas Wu, the junior for the Engineers. Adams continues to push. Getting set to hand this one off to Ethan Schreier, who's into the pool. Bryce Roberts gonna chase after him here on the butterfly leg. Schreier makes the turn and heads for home. Gonna hand off to Søren Overgaard as the Engineers have caught up a little bit. Slight lead for Overgaard to protect. Chasing after him, Eugene Zhang, the junior for MIT. It's Overgaard and Zhang as they make the turn for home for the final time. Zhang trying to catch the Jumbo senior, but it looks as if Overgaard's gonna have enough. He will take the heat and the relay for the Jumbos. A really impressive performance there for the Jumbos. 129.17 on that relay. And as we look here at the cut lines, an impressive performance for the Jumbos. That one will put them not just under a B qualifying time, but potentially into an A qualifying spot there, as it looks to be just 0.3 of a second off what would have been an A qualifying time in last year's cuts. Not much time to waste here. We are moving on to a little bit of a slower event, the women's 1,000 freestyle. Each squad has 3 swimmers in this race. Jumbo's best swimmer in this race, Madeline Dunn, who swam a PB 10:20 at the MIT Winter Invite. To her right will be Christina Beggs. To her left, Camila Pierce. A 1,000-meter freestyle, which means that is 40 lengths of the pool for those of you watching at home. Out relatively fast. 4 swimmers coming under 29 seconds on that first 50. And it's lanes 2, 3, and 4 out well. Sierra McCarty, Christina Beggs, Madeline Dunn already starting to distance themselves from the rest of the field as we approach the 100-meter mark. Dunn with the lead at 100 meters, came in just under 59. McCarty starting to fall back just a little bit here, as Dunn and Beggs starting to make this a bit of a 2-woman race. And a really good start to this event for the very talented Madeline Dunn. Was a mile swimmer for the Jumbos at the MIT Winter Invite. Swam that one in 16:40. A very impressive time. Off to a really good start here as she has finished 200 meters just under 2 minutes. Dunn with a seed time of 10:20, the fastest of anyone seeded in this heat. And the key to a race like this one is the steadiness of your pace, and we're starting to see that from Madeline Dunn. Seemingly every 50 is right about 30 seconds, exactly where she wants to be. We'll see what this 50 split comes in at. She was at 2:28 at the 2:50 mark. And she hits it with a 30:48 on that 50, coming in under 3 minutes for her 300. And just continuing to hold that pace. Those three seem clear and away. A potential challenger out in lane 6 here is Lila Strober, the freshman for the Jumbos, who's up and starting to challenge a little bit with McCarty for that 3rd place spot. The other two MIT swimmers in Camila Pierce and Aria Eppinger fading a little bit here as we are in the middle of this race. Dunn with another 30-second 50, just continuing that methodical, metronomic pace. Just over 4 minutes through 400 for Madeline Dunn. Could be working on a PB here. Has almost a half pool length lead over her closest competition in Bags. She will make the turn here, and when she comes to this near wall, will be at the halfway point, will give us a really good indicator of how Madeline Dunn is doing. The answer to that question very well as she comes in at 5:01 at the halfway point. Beggs starting to make a little bit of progress here, seemingly has found a second wind. The question is, can she catch Dunn, who has really put a gap between her? A 9-second lead at the halfway point for Madeline Dunn. And I'm gonna just guess that that might be too big to surmount with only 500 meters to go, especially the way that Madeline Dunn is swimming. Dunn seems to be away and clear. Once again, McCarty starting to reassert herself in 3rd and maybe making a little bit of ground on Biggs for 2nd. As those two are definitely getting tighter. Dunn coming up here. This will be 6:50 for her when she hits the near wall. McCarty seemingly making some ground on Beggs with every stroke. And if Beggs isn't careful, she could find herself caught by the Jumbo Senior. .635 through 650 for Dunn. The gap between McCarty and Beggs, little less than 3 seconds with 300 meters to go. McCarty continues to close, Dunn continues to cruise. 29 lengths to the pool done for Madeline Dunn. Dunn will touch here. Got 10 lengths to go. Starting to sense the personal best. Slowed down a little bit on that 50 at 31.81. She's got to go sub 240 in this last 250 if she wants to get a personal best. Dunn continuing to power away, getting set to lap Camilla Pierce to her left momentarily. That race for second between Beggs and McCarty still there, but Beggs starting to reassert herself once again. Touching up now is Dunn. She's got 6 lengths to the pool to go. Laps Pierce with 5 lengths to go. McCarty starting to make a bit of a move on Beggs, opening up that stride. Dunn with 100 to go. McCarty really starting to catch Beggs. There are 2 races left in this heat. It is Madeline Dunn versus the clock, and it is Christina Beggs against Selena McCarty. .940 as the bell lap sounds for Madeline Dunn. It'll sound momentarily here for Beggs. As she turns and heads for home, McCarty will chase after her, but I don't know if there's enough pool left. But it is all Madeline Dunn coming here to the wall in complete control. 10-11, 10-12, and a personal best under 10-15 for Madeline Dunn here at the senior meet. The junior delivers. A nice finish out there in lane 6 there from Leila Strober. Dunn comes in 10-14, followed by Beggs in 10-26, McCarty in 10-31, Strober 10-38. So a personal best for McCarty and Strober as well as Dunn. And finishing up here will be Aria Eppinger, who is about ready to make the turn for home. Momentarily, it'll be the men's side of this race. 5 men will enter. MIT going to send 3 out. It'll be Helsing Cantrell in 1, Grant Hugh in 3, John Tetchin in 5, and for the Jumbos, Luis Demetratis in 2, Daniel Godine in 4. Smiles from many of the swimmers as they emerge from the pool, especially from Madeline Dunn, who looks happy with herself. The men will take the marks here. Godino with the fastest seed time coming in at 9:51. And without a moment's hesitation, the men will begin their 1,000 meter. Interesting note here, look at the way those guys are putting down the cues for the swimmers with the poles. MIT, interestingly, had all of their swimmers get the 1 cue to indicate it was their first length, while the Jumbos going to send their poles down for the first time here on the 3rd length. Everyone pretty even through 75. And Hugh and Godino within 0.13 of a second in the lead after that lap. Fading relatively quickly is Luis Demetratis. Hugh Godino and Tetchin here starting to distance themselves. Godino and Hugh here, as Hugh starting to open up about a half body length lead. 150 through 200 for Grant Hugh. And he is just starting to open up that stride, a little bit longer lengths on every stroke. And it is starting to open up the gap between him and Godino. Up to about a full body length at 250. Then another full body length back to Tetchin. Hugh turns at 300 and 245. Has about a 2.5 second gap on Godino. And if you're Godino, this is exactly what you need to do. Just stay with Hugh. Don't allow him to push it past a couple body lengths and see if he'll fatigue in the back 500. Those two are clear and gone. They'll decide first and second between them. Tetchin continuing to work well, as is Kelson Tandle down in lane number 1. As Cantle just continues to slowly make up ground on Tetchin. No one making up ground on Grant Hugh, who is flying through this race. Another 28-second 50 for Hugh, who seemingly looks better and better by the length. We're going to see in a second what he comes in here at the halfway point at. He was at 410 at 450. There's a possibility he comes in sub 440 through 500. Godino struggling a little bit on his turn right now. Adam Hoyt giving him some instruction on just making sure he straightens himself out, wasting a little bit of energy with some lateral movement in that last length. And really just a dominant performance from Grant, who we finally got a time on the 500, came in through 500 in 4:38. And I'm not great at doing math on the fly, but at least to my eyes, looks like he might be getting faster in this second half of the race. Hits again here. Does Hugh. That's 600 now for him. Did that in 5:34, averaging under 56 seconds per 100. And he is going to shatter the current seed times of anyone in this field right now. Hughes' personal best for his career was swam at MIT's meet against the Coast Guard a couple weeks ago. That was a 9:33. Has the real possibility of shattering that here in Medford today. As he will have 10 laps to go here. Almost a full length of the pool lead over Godino, who is still swimming very well himself and could very well have a personal best here today. The problem for him is Hughes just on another planet in terms of his long distance swimming ability. $200 to go for Hugh. Now a full 50 meters ahead of Demetratis. Some good swimming in lane 5 from John Tetchin here, as well as in lane 1 out of Cantrell. Turning is Godino. He's got 150 to go. And he's kind of held Hugh there at about a 20, 25 meter lead. Hasn't let him get too far away from him. The problem is that lead represents about 12 seconds in real time. Hugh with 100 to go. Godino will make the turn himself. Hughes gonna get the bell momentarily. Here it is. As we are under 9 minutes with Hugh turning for home. 9:33 is his career best. We'll see if he can come in under 9:30. Godino also looks set to offer a best on the year. All eyes on the clock here in Medford. 9:20 And to the wall in under 9:25. A phenomenal performance from Grant Hugh. Into the wall is Godino. Comes in there under 9:40. So a 10-second improvement on his season best. Alas, it's not going to do enough to win him this race. Dimitrotis still has a full 50 plus to go. My apologies. Thought he was further back than he was. As that race comes to a conclusion, a phenomenal win there for Grant Hugh, who is going to go continue on swimming. Not quite sure where he's going, but after the way he swam that 1K, he can go wherever he wants. And I do have an answer. It was to go retrieve his swim cap. Didn't even notice it had come off. He was just so locked in. Did not bother him in the slightest as he cruised to a career best. We're going to speed things up a little bit here with the women's 200 free. 5 swimmers in each of the 2 heats. This one going to have 3 from MIT, 2 for the Jumbos. It'll be Emma Zhu in 1 for the Engineers, Alexia Palco-Lacerda for the Jumbos, Lauren Adler for MIT in lane 3, Sophia Knight, the Tufts freshman, in lane 4, and Jolie Kim in 5 for MIT. Sophia Knight, the only one coming in seated. Women's 200 free underway. Knight and Adler out well. It'll be Knight ahead at the turn, followed by Adler, and then Palco-Lacerda. And Sophia Knight with a really good start, out in under 26, and has about a body length lead over everyone else as she makes the turn down for length number 3. Knight's season and career best, 1:55.24, which she swam at the winter invite. On pace to shatter that here. She comes through in a little bit under 55. Adler's going to have to try and track her down on the back 100. Knight continues her phenomenal start. Adler making a little bit of ground up on the freshman. And it'll be the battle of the 2 freshmen with 50 to go. 1:26 on the clock. Adler's starting to catch Knight, who's Sophia Knight and Lauren Adler stride for stride as they turn for home. 25 to go. Adler with about a half body length lead now. And Lauren Adler with the comeback will take the heat. Third will just be grabbed by Palco-Lacerda. In the end, Knight, who went out so well, sub 55 in that front 100, faded, was north of 60 seconds in the back 100, which allowed Adler to catch her. Here in the second heat, MIT going to send out Natalie Tang, Sydney Smith, and Sarah Bernard. Jumbos with 2 more underclassmen in Allie Brown and Selen 2K. Interestingly, not going to send out Quincy Wheeler, who already is qualified for NCAAs with a time she set at the MIT winter invite. Seemingly going to rotate the squad a little bit here today. Sydney Smith out well. Brown out chasing after her. To the inside is Tunke. Also going well in lane 5 is Sarah Bernard. Smith makes the turn, just over 26 seconds. 4 swimmers within a second of the lead at the 50-meter mark. Smith now has about a body length ahead of Selin Tunke in lane 4. Bernard starting to challenge her as Smith will make the turn. Sub 54 for Sydney Smith. Smith looks clear and gone as a battle starting to develop for second between 3 swimmers. Tang down on the end, and then the 2 who are next to each other, Tunke in 4 and Bernard in 5. Smith with 50 to go. It is Tang who wins the race to that line in second, and it looks as if the engineers could go 1, 2, 3 here in the 200. Tunke starting to fade, Smith pouring on the gas. Sadie Smith now with about a body length and a half lead over her 2 teammates, Tang and Bernard. It's going to be Smith 1. It'll be Bernard and then Tang as MIT sweeps the 200 free. A really impressive performance there from Smith, going a 152.44 in the 200 free. Just missing out on the B standard by 0.3 of a second. It'll be the men's 200 free next before a short break. This heat going to be very interesting. 4 jumbos, along with 1 engineer in the middle in Alvin Tsai, who was part of that relay to open up the day, help the engineers come back. In 1, Josh Harrison, 2, Eli Holton, Tsai we mentioned in 3, and then Jan Springer and Ryan Manson in 4 and 5. Fastest seed time in the heat belongs to Springer. 1:41 low. And they're all out real well. No gaps forming here in the first 50. It will be Springer to touch just ahead of Tsai. Everyone within 0.3 of a second. Now Springer starting to extend the lead just a bit. Also going well out in 2 is Eli Holton. Springer has a half body length lead. Comes in under 50 seconds. Holton starting to make some noise in lane 2. Also going well in 5 is Manson. Springer continuing to push the pace. Comes in at 1:15 with 50 to go. Manson in second. Holton fighting Tsai for third. Manson starting to make up some ground on Springer. And Manson comes up from the underwater pretty much even. A great comeback here in lane 5 from Ryan Manson. Stride for stride with Springer. And I think Manson got it, he did. A great 26-7 finish for Ryan Manson gives him the win by 0.16 of a second in that heat. And on the other side, it was Sai who ended up holding on for third. Here in the second heat, it'll be 6 swimmers, 3 ace school. Brian Lee in 1, Jason Wang in 3, and Gideon Karp in 5 for the engineers. For the jumbos, they'll have Sam Harris in 6, Ron Liebman in 4, and Nick Monfort in 2. Liebman with the fastest time any jumbo has swam in the 200 free this year with 1:38.64 from the freshman. A good start out of the blocks there for Montfort. He's going to hit the wall first. Pretty even there with Wang and Liebman. Also going well is Karp in 5. It'll be Liebman to touch first in 23.75. All 6 of them almost simultaneously hitting that wall at 75 yards. Liebman, Karp, as well as Wang. Still not an inch between any of the 6. I don't think I could tell you who's winning this race because they all look pretty much even. Wang starting to make a little bit of a gap here. Montfort also going well. It was Wang, then Montfort. Liebman fell to 6th in that length. And we got a barnstormer of a finish coming. Montfort, Wang, and now Karp. Montfort with the lead. Wang trying to catch him, but he does not have the juice. Nick Montfort takes the heat. And a really great time there for the freshman. Came into today with a 1:40.60. You won't be able to improve on that time, but will get the win here against the Engineers. And a really impressive performance and a great all-around heat. We will step aside for this 5-minute break. When we come back, it'll be the women's 100-yard breast. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here to Hamilton Pool. Second segment here of day 2 of this meet. All the races today, the diving went on over across the river at MIT last night. Got a couple big events coming up. 100 back, 100 breast, 200 fly, and then the 50 free in this second segment. Starting with the women's 100 back. This heat gonna have 3 jumbos, 2 engineers, Anna Geivold, Chloe Shu, Madison Hayberg, who we saw earlier open up in a really strong manner in that 200 medley. Jessie Crane, the freshman from MIT, and Alia Hokoglu for the jumbos. The one to watch in the middle, Madison Hayberg, with a 57.91 season's best coming into today. And they are off. Longest underwater goes to Hayberg, who comes up with about 10 meters to go to the back. And she'll make the turn first. To her outside is Crane. It's those two who have a slight lead. Zhu going well in 3. 0.03 of a second between Hayberg and Crane at the halfway point. They will turn for home. Hayberg with the lead. Crane not far behind. Madison Hayberg powering towards the finish. And she will take this heat. Coming in just over 58 seconds. Second place belonging to Shu. And third, all the way on the end, to Alia Hokoglu. Here is the second heat momentarily. Annika Naveen, as well as Kate Augustin, the star senior for MIT, and Olivia Chen. For the jumbos, it is 2 freshmen in Olivia Pettit and Noah Chambers, as well as the Olympian Gorika Singh in lane 2. Singh comes in with a 56.48 season's best. The fastest seed time belonging to Chambers with a 56.19. You get the feeling that no one's going to win this heat unless they go at least under 57. And a great start off the blocks for Augustin. She is out well. Singh did not get a great start. Chambers pretty close to Augustin at 25. Chen also going very well for the engineers, but it is Augustin clear and away. Turns and comes in 27.2. Singh starting to make some ground. Out well in lane 1 is Annika Naveen, but it is Augustin's show, and we're all just living in it. Got a full body length lead as she makes the final turn. Kate Augustin flying to the wall and will come in just over 55 seconds. Second there will belong to a great finish from Chambers. Third, all the way in the end, goes to Olivia Pettit. And Kate Augustin, with that one, breaks the pool record in 55.43. Here is another race where we could see a potential record. Eric Lundgren set a PR in the backstroke in the 200 last night. We'll see if he could do the same in the 100. His best on the year, 47.28. They're getting set to go here. And we are under. And Lundgren, stride for stride here. Lundgren out of the pool first. Almost at the 50-meter arc, and he hits it just under 24 seconds. Has 0.4 of a lead at the halfway mark. And just like that, it is those two clearing away. Lundgren with a half body length lead, still underwater. A 15-meter underwater for Eric Lundgren. Gonna have to close it out, and he does. It'll be Lundgren, followed by Arise Itor, and in third, finishing it up, the junior from MIT, Zach West. But a big, big swim there for Eric Lundgren. Next up will be the women's 100-yard breaststroke. There will be two heats here. This first one, two jumbos in the two seniors, Sora Son and Abby Miller, as well as Lauren Adler, who we already saw win in the 100 breast earlier. And heat one is underway. Miller with the slight lead early on. It is Miller, followed by Adler, and then Son. Abby Miller in just over 31.3 for that first 50. Starting to really distance herself from Adler. Hits the far wall just over 4. Did not swim her usual 200 free. Probably did not swim her usual 200 free. Probably so she could have a little bit of freshness to swim this one. They all surface at the same time. Bernard touches first, just ahead of Wheeler. Still 5 across here as we approach the 50-meter mark. Wheeler at the turn with the slight lead, followed by Bernard. In third, in lane 5, is Lee. It is Wheeler and Bernard, stride for stride here as we come home. Still nothing to decide the two with 15 to go. Wheeler, Bernard, stroke for stroke. On the touch. It is Wheeler's day. A great finish there for Quincy Wheeler. Waiting to see the final times. I gotta tell you, that cannot possibly be right. There is no way there is a second plus difference between Wheeler and Bernard. And I think the MIT coaching staff rightfully pointing that out. While they figure this out, the men will take to the blocks. Heat 1 of 2 in the same event. Jumbo's going to run 3 here. Bora Callis in 2, Jack Nussbaum in 4, and Albert Zhu in 5. Jack Bolte, the freshman for MIT, their only swimmer in this heat. Out fast is Callis in 2. Also out well is Nussbaum. Nussbaum with the fastest seed time, 56:27. And it will be Nussbaum followed by Callis at the turn. The 3 jumbos, 1, 2, and 3 at the turn. Nussbaum continuing to extend his lead. Callis trying to stick with him. It is Jack Nussbaum who has the lead as we turn for home. Bolte's trying to make a gain on Callis, not going to do it. Looks like the jumbos might go 1, 2, 3 here. Nussbaum touches up, followed by Callis, and finishing it out is Shu. An impressive performance for the jumbos, going 1, 2, 3 in that heat. Up next, same event, heat number 2, jumbos with a couple seniors in this one, 3 in fact, in Charlie Duffy in 2, Eamon Adams, the superstar program record holder in the breaststroke, in 4, and Darian Johnson in 6. MIT with Thomas Wu in 3, Jacob McCarron in 5. And Adams and Duffy surface at the same spot. Those two with the lead at 25. Adams starting to build a bit of a lead here. Wu is in second with Duffy. Adams touches first at 26:46. Wu with them, as is Duffy. Those 3 are clearing away. Adams makes the turn first, followed by Wu. Duffy just a half stroke after. Eamon Adams into the final 10. And he's going to take this one rather comfortably. Will touch up just over 56 with the win. Wu in second, Duffy in third. Next up will be the 200 fly. 2 heats of this race as well. In this first heat, the jumbo's going to send 4 in heats 2, 4, 5, in lanes 2, 4, 5, and 6, excuse me. Sarah Liu, the only engineer, is in 3. The jumbos to watch, Leela Strober in 2, as well as Valeria Stroheimer in 4. As here, a nice start here for Wu. Stroheimer with Liu. Fading a little bit here is Strober. Not a great turn there for Sarah Liu, but she still has the lead at the 50-yard mark. Stroheimer trying to catch up. And now back with the rest of the field is Lila Strober, recovering from that poor start off the blocks. Strober definitely looks the freshest here in this middle 50. Almost even with Liu. On the other side of her, that's Stroheimer. Those two jumbos are going to contest the win with Lou. Strober now with the lead, followed by Stroheimer. Lou a just back third. And a really impressive performance here from Lila Strober, who is pouring it on in the back half of this race. 50 to go. Almost a full body length lead now for the freshman. Strober flying home. Her personal best in this 2:07.20. Does not look like she's going to be able to beat that today, but after a poor start to the heat, Lila Strober going to cruise home with the win. It'll be Stroheimer in second, and coming for third and taking it all the way in lane 6 is Emma Kloss. The next heat, we do a piece. And the exhaustion in those swimmers can be heard all the way from up here in the bird's eye. It'll be the men's turn now in the 200 fly. Jumbos with 3 in this. Aguirre in 2. Todoris in 4. Hosger in 6. MIT with Evans, who we saw put out a really professional performance earlier, as well as Theo Chen. And there is someone in lane 1, but we do not have a name for you. Was not supposed to be anyone in lane 1 in this heat, so we apologize. And we apologize for losing Wi-Fi during that race. Can tell you that Lara Wijak did end up winning that heat. This is the men's 200 fly. 2 engineers out well in Jalen Evans and Theo Chen. There's also a 3rd engineer who's doing quite well in lane 1. We do not have his name because there was not supposed to be a 3rd engineer in this heat. Chen in the lead at the halfway. Starting to make some gaps is Chen. Todoris starting to get back in this one. Pretty much even now with Evans. Chen followed by Todoris with Evans. And our mystery man out in lane 1 who might be in the lead right now. Whoever that is in lane 1, they're swimming a very good race. Have about a half body length lead as they turn for home. Evans making up some ground as well. Watch Todoris here in lane 4. He's coming. It's going to come from the middle. Todoris and Evans, stride for stride. And in the end, it'll be lane 1, followed by Evans, Todoris in 3rd. Fading drastically down the stretch there was Chen. He was in the lead at 100, ended up finishing 6th in that heat. And the referee, I think, pointing out and asking the MIT coaching staff the exact same question we've been asking for the last 2 minutes. Who is that mystery swimmer in lane 1? Second heat of the finals here. 5 swimmers set to swim at least according to the heat sheet. But as we learned a minute ago, that heat sheet does not mean a whole lot. Does look as though there will be 5 swimmers in this one as well. Nathan Zhu in 1, Nate Preffer, the jumbo swimmer, in 2, Ben Wu in 3, Ethan Schreier in 4, and Roderick Huang in 5. Schreier with the fastest seed time there in lane 4. Swam a 1:47 earlier this year. Did not get a good jump. With a nice underwater, he's going to surface with the lead. Shu out well there in lane 1. But it still is the lead belonging on the inside to Ethan Schreier. Schreier with Zhu also doing well. There is Ben Wu. Fading rather quickly here in 5 is Huang. Pfeiffer trying to stay with the other 3 to some avail. Schreier and Wu starting to separate themselves as the 2 clear leaders. It'll be that 1 and then 2 for those 2 at the halfway. Gap was 24 hundredths at the halfway point in favor of Ethan Schreier. Looks to be about the same with 35 to go. Final 50 here for Ethan Schreier. Wu with a poor turn, and it might cost him. Pfeiffer starting to make some ground here in the race for 3rd against Nathan Zhu. Schreier continues to build the lead. Wu trying to stay with him, but it does not look like he has what it takes to stay with Ethan Schreier today. Schreier gonna win the race to the touch. The race for 3rd, gonna be a good one. Looks as if that one goes to Pfeiffer. And you know how this day just keeps getting quicker and quicker? Well, it's about to get a whole lot quicker, because next up, as soon as these butterflyers hop out of the pool, will be the women's 50 free, the very definition of an all-out sprint. Heat 1 of that race will have 6 swimmers. For the engineers, it'll be Kathy Zhao, Mary Griffin, and Catherine Yao. For the jumbos, Angel Smirnu, Catherine Skelly, who we saw earlier in the relay, as well as Sydney Stas, who we also saw go very well in that relay. And we're underway. 2 lengths of the pool. Skelly out well, as is Smirnu. Looks like Skelly has a slight lead. Also watch Sydney Stas coming hard in 6. It's gonna be Stas and Skelly to the line. I believe Skelly won it on the touch. She did. It'll be Skelly followed by Stas, and 3rd will be Smirnu. Jumbos go 1, 2, 3. Same event, different heat. Our Heat 2 finals will have Rachel Zhang, Ella Robertson, who we saw fly earlier, as well as Alexandra Turvey, the runner-up in last year's 50 free national championship. As well for the jumbos, Bella Chambers, Jillian Cudney, and Cindy Sue. Out well is Cudney in 4, as well as Robertson. Turvey also flying at the halfway. Racing back into the tidal way. Cudney looks to have half a step, but here comes Robertson, also to the wall. This one Just one by Robertson. Second is Cudney. And they're going to have to fix that because it did not register a touch there from Alex Turvey. We'll see what ends up happening. It just now registered a touch from Alex Turvey. Looked to me like she had finished third in real time, but we'll have to go back and take a look. It'll now be the guys' turn to sprint. 2 finals before we take our second break here. This one, 2 jumbos and an engineer in Heat 1. Jack Moore, Jeremy Flint, and Alex Gu. Gu with the nice underwater. Smith and Flint right with him. Gu, Moore, and Flint pretty much even with 20 to go. Now it's Gu starting to pull away. He will come to the line with a 21.74, taking the heat. Heat 2 of this event. The ones to watch include Soren Ervard in the middle, as well as Campbell McFall here in lane 6. Ervard with the lead at the halfway. You can see the tidal wave cresting on the far wall as Ervard's going to take this one in lane 4. Second will be Eugene Zhang, but Ervard wins that one in 20.87. A phenomenal finish to the sprint portion of this meet. And really a great race all around, as all 6 swimmers within 125 of each other. We're going to step aside for a little bit. We'll come back on the other side of the break. It'll be 200s and 100s for a while, including the women's and men's 100 freestyle coming up next. But before that, we're going to have a 10-minute break. Don't go anywhere. fastest time coming in belongs to Clara Belling with a 55.15. Out well is Pog in 3. She's going to have the lead at the turn. Also well, Paco Lacerda in 2 and Belling in 4. Belling might have a slight lead here as we come to the halfway. It is Clara Belling at the halfway, followed by in 5 Olivia Chen, then Paco Lacerda, and then in the middle, Pog. Belling continuing to stretch the lead. Poe gonna trace after her. Paco Lacerda fighting in 3rd along with Chen. Belling with Pogue coming back now. Belling's gonna take it. Pogue in 2nd. And a nice finish there in 3rd from Olivia Chen. Heat 2 will feature a full pool. Sydney Smith, Ella Robertson, and Alex Turvey, so the 3 best freestylers for the engineers in this one. Bella Chambers, Jillian Cudney, and Sweeney Sue for the Jumbos. We've seen this 3-4-5 combination in the 50, and it's looking very similar. Robertson with Turvey and Cudney out well and ahead. Robertson continues to fly in just over 24. Robertson followed by Turvey. Cudney in a distant 3rd, fighting with her teammate in Chambers. Ella Robertson gonna cruise on home. Cudney making up some ground, but it's not gonna be enough. It'll be Robertson, then Turvey, followed by Cudney. It'll be the men to come up next. This men's 100 free will now have 3 heats. One with 3, including 2 jumbos or we're supposed to have 2 jumbos and 1 engineer, but there are now 2 engineers up. We know it's Demetratis in 2, Alvin Sy in 3, Josh Harrison in 4. Do not know who is in 5 for the engineers. Harrison with the lead at 25. Harrison's PB 48.62. On pace to break it as he comes in under 23 at the halfway. Sy right next to him, as well as our mystery man in 5. Sy starting to pull away from Harrison. The mystery man in 5's gonna take it, then Sy. Harrison will get in. Looks like he might have gone under his PB. We'll see what the final result is for Harrison as well as Demetratis. And Harrison just misses out on his PB by about half a second there. Heat number 2 gonna have 3 jumbos and an engineer. John Tetchin in 3 for the engineers. Alex Gu, Eli Holton, and Ryan Manson. Remember with Manson, we saw him come back in the last 50 of the 200 free. We'll see if he can do something similar if he finds himself down here. On the contrary, he finds himself pretty clearly ahead alongside Holton at the halfway point. Holton with a slight lead on Manson, just like we saw in the 200. Holton with the lead still with 15 to go. Manson starting to kick into gear. It's going to be Holton, followed by Manson, and then in 3rd will be Tetchin. And Our final heat will be a full one. Anthony Ko in 1, Jean Springer in 2, Eugene Zhang back again in 3, Soren Ervard, who's already won 2 races today, in 4, Thomas Wu in 5, and Armin Sika in 6. Ervard with a phenomenal dive has the lead through half a length. Anthony Ko did not start this heat. It is Springer and Ervard fighting well. Springer with the lead at the half. Still Springer with 25 to go. Ervard starting to make up a little bit of ground. Springer against Ervard to the line. Springer, Ervard, and in 3rd, closing out the 1-2-3 is Armin Sika. Next up here will be the women's 200 back. Interestingly, a full heat 1 with only 3 in heat 2. Looks as if they might be running, or there was going to be a full heat 1, but lane 1, Camilla Pierce has dropped out, so it'll be Anna Gervold, Kate Augustin, Madison Hayberg, Jessie Crane, and Alia Hokulu. The ones to watch, 3 and 4, Augustin and Hayberg. And Hayberg flying out. It'll be Hayberg to touch up just ahead of her 2 teammates in Gervold and Hokulu. The 2 engineers falling fast. Hayberg and Gervold, the 2 leaders here as we approach the halfway mark. Hayberg hit the line, was able to steady herself. Another smooth turn. The 2 jumbos clearing away. Back in a 3rd now is Kate Augustin, who is starting to make a little bit of ground up on the 2 leaders. Hayberg now with about half a body length. Gervold starting to get back in it as they make the turn for home. Hayberg and Gervold clearing away. Hayberg with about a body length lead. Augustin seems to have 3rd on wrap. It's going to be Hayberg, Gervold, and then Augustin here in this first heat. And finally finishing it up will be Jessie Crane coming in just under 220. This second heat going to be 3 jumbos plus an engineer, maybe 2 who jumped in at the last minute. The jumbos are Madeline Dunn in 2, Noah Chambers in 4, and Olivia Petit in 6. The engineers are to be determined. Fastest seed time in this group belongs to Noah Chambers. It is the mystery engineer in 3 in the lead. Chambers in second, followed by Dunn. Pettit with them as well. And our mystery swimmer in scarlet has put herself out to a body length and a half lead as she comes to the halfway point. Coming back a little bit is the other MIT swimmer in this heat. Chambers still with them, as is Dunn and Pettit. 4 across with the swimmer in scarlet in the lead. Question is, can any of the Jumbo's women get back with her as she's starting to fade a little bit? Dunn starting to narrow the gap. Madeline Dunn definitely starting to close. About 40 meters left in this race. And here comes Dunn. The mystery woman in 4 starting to fade. About a body length lead that Dunn's gonna try and run down in this final 25. She's making some grounds. But in the end, Madeline Dunn runs out of steam. If there had been another 5, she might have gotten her. It'll be Dunn in second, Chambers in third, and the mystery woman to be determined with the win. Looks as if our mystery woman was Tier. Was not scheduled to swim the 200 back, but got the win nonetheless. Now it'll be the men's turn here in the 100 or the 200 back. This first heat, only 2 swimmers. Kelson Cantrell, the freshman from MIT, against the Jumbo junior Nate Pfeffer. And talk about the pressure being put on you. Nothing like it when it's a 1v1. A deep dive there from Pfeffer, but he's gonna stay down and surface with the lead. Pretty even as we hit the 50-meter mark. Pfeffer with a slight edge. Nothing substantive. Still stroke for stroke through 75. Within a couple hundredths of each other at the halfway. And I have that number. It is 1. They're within 1/100th of each other at the halfway. Cantrell now starting to open up just a bit. But matching the move is Nate Pfeffer. Dead even with 50 to go. Less than a 10th separate the two. Cantrell and Pfeffer exactly even with 25. It's gonna come down to the last 10. Cantrell starting to extend his lead, but here comes Pfeffer. It's gonna come down to a touch. It is Pfeffer at the line. what a race between those two. Were even the entire way, but in the end, by 2/10 of a second, it is Ethan Pfeffer getting the better of Kelson Cantrell. Second heat here of the men's 200 back. The big favorite in the center is Eric Lundgren. Has a seat time 9 seconds better than anyone else in this race at 1:44. Two unseated engineers in Aaron Zhu in 5 and Zach West in 3. Lundgren with that trademark deep dive, surfaces with the lead. West trying to stay with him, but Lundgren just too good at this. Gonna come to the 50 mark in about 25 seconds. And Lundgren just continuing to motor down the back. Uribe and Zhu fighting for 4th. On the other side, it's Harris and West fighting for 2nd as Eric Lundgren is in a race against the clock. Takes the turn just under 53. His PR in this event, 1:44.14 at the NESCACs last year. Lundgren coming to the wall. Length 6 done at 1:22. Starting to make a little bit of progress is Aaron Zhu, as well as on the other side, Sam Harris. Lundgren makes the turn for home. Has about a 10-yard lead. And Eric Lundgren gonna cruise to the wall with the win. Second will go to West, third to Zhu. Fourth will be Harris, and Brian Uribe will finish 5th. And that is a new pool record for Eric Lundgren with a 1:49.41. A very impressive performance. It'll be the women's 200 breast, heat 1 to start off. Sydney Chun in 2, Kathy Zhao in 3, Aria Eppinger in 5 for the engineers. The Jumbos had Abby Miller scheduled to swim this race, but she did not take the blocks, so it is just the 3 engineers. The 3 of them almost as if they're swimming a little bit of a synchronized routine, dead even through 50. In the background, you can see Quincy Wheeler getting herself set for Heat 2, as well as Catherine Yao. And the engineers continuing to cruise here in this one. Still out ahead there. In lane 2 is Sydney Chun. Zhao's with her. Fading back is Eppinger. is Shun's lead with 50 to go. See if Zhao can do anything about it. Looks as if this is Shun's to not lose down the stretch here. And she's going to come in comfortably. Zhao will finish second. Eppinger will bring up the rear here in heat number 1. Heat 2, I'll introduce our swimmers because they're about to get set to go. It'll be Katie Cadella in 1, Mia Solomon, the jumbo sophomore, in 2, Sarah Bernard swimming her 3rd race of the day in 3, Quincy Wheeler, who we saw scratch from the 200 free to swim this one, in 4, and Catherine Yao in 5. Bernard out well, as is Solomon, Wheeler, and Yao. But in fact, it looks like it's going to be Katie Cadella to touch first. Yao falling back a little bit. The other 4 pretty much across and even. Bernard starting to get a little bit of distance between her and the 2 jumbos. She'll touch first in about 31 and a half. Cadella swimming well out there in 1, as is Solomon in 2. Wheeler fading a bit with Yao. Bernard continues her strong performance in the pool today. Pushed her lead up to about a body length. Solomon in 2nd. Then it looks to be Cadella with Wheeler closing the gap rather quickly. Gap of almost 2 seconds now for Sarah Bernard. And she is motoring down the back. Wheeler starting to make some distance between her and Yao, catching Solomon. Bernard's away and clear. This is her race to lose. Wheeler and Solomon, as well as Yao now, fighting for 2nd. Bernard will touch at 1:42 with 50 meters to go. Then Wheeler, followed by Solomon, with Yao right with the 2 of them. Quincy Wheeler's best in this event this year is 2:21.90. She's very likely to come in under that. But she's not going to come in under Sarah Bernard, who has about a 7-meter lead. It is Sarah Bernard's race. She's going to come in under 2:20 with the win. Wheeler's going to finish 2nd. 3rd will belong to Catherine Yao. And finishing up this one will be Katie Cadella. And if you had to ask me coming in today, if I had to choose one heat that I had my eye on, this upcoming men's 200 breast heat would be the one. You have a couple seniors in Charlie Duffy and Emmett Adams on either end for the jumbos. Arborshoe and Jacob McCarron in 5 and 2 respectively. And in 4, Bora Callis in the middle, the grad student. Duffy the highest seed, Adams with the fastest career time of the 5. And it's those 2 out ahead off the dive. Adams with the first touch. And he is seemingly already opening up a substantial lead here through the first 50. He's going to touch under or just under 28 seconds. Callis also out well alongside him. Zhu falling back. McCarron still there for the Engineers. and Duffy struggling a little bit, but it is really a two-man game between Emmett Adams and Borakalis. Adams continues to lead at the halfway mark. Callis, though, is starting to make up some ground up the middle. And it looks as if it is the grad student now in the lead. Duffy also starting to catch back up to those ahead of him, especially McCarron. Callis will have the lead with 50 to go. Darian Johnson encouraging Adams as he makes the turn, even with Duffy and McCarron for second. Callis starting to run away with this one. His best on the year, 2:09.09. He touches up at 150. Callis continues to scythe through the water like it's a block of cheese, smooth as you like, and he will take it in 2:05. Second, Duffy. Third, I believe, was Adams. It was. And that heat did not disappoint. Our final heat before the third break will be this second heat of the men's 200 breast. Grant Hugh, who we saw dominate earlier in 1. Connor Towson, his first swim of the day in 2. Roderick Wang back in 3. Nussbaum, who we saw dominate earlier in 4. Jason Wang in 5. And Darian Johnson in 6. It is Hugh to touch first after 25. Nussbaum and Hugh within a couple tenths of a second of each other with the lead. Also going well is Nussbaum and Towson. It is Nussbaum, Hugh, and Johnson, as well as Townsend, starting to make a move in lane 2. Still, it's Hugh on the end with the lead at the halfway. A difference of only 19 hundredths at the halfway between Nussbaum and Hugh. We'll see what it is when they touch at 150. Making a move now in lane 5 is Jason Wang. Nussbaum followed by Wang. Then Hugh is the order at 150. Nussbaum and Wang. Stroke for stroke with 50 to go. Gonna come down to the final 10. Nussbaum versus Wang. Gonna come down to the touch. Nussbaum takes it. Nussbaum followed by Wang. In third, coming all the way back out of nowhere, was Roderick Huang. And a really phenomenal end of that third segment. We'll step aside, be back with you in 5. welcome back here to Hamilton Pool. Time for a little bit of a longer distance event, the 500 free. Women and men gonna go back to back. Both the women and the men's heats are completely full. Each team sending out 3. For the women, MIT gonna send out Jolie Kim, Lauren Adler to swim a 4th race today, and Natalie Tang, who won her first. For the Jumbos, Sierra McCarty back out there, as well as Selin Tunke and Allie Brown. Fastest seat time in the middle belongs to Selin Tunke. Reminder, in the 25-yard pool, the 500 requires 20 lengths. After the 500s, it'll be the 100 butterflies on both sides. Then we finish up with the 200 IMs and the 4x50 free relay to finish it out. The middle 4 pretty much even across the board through 75 yards. Looks like it might be Adler who's going to get the touch in the lead at 100, and she will. Pretty symmetrical pattern of swimmers. The 2 in the middle, followed by the 2 in 2 and 5, and then the outside women bringing up the rear. Almost swimming stride for stride like a school of fish out there. Adler makes the turn right with Tunke. Swam almost identical laps. 5/100ths of a second, the difference. Indeed, the difference between the two of them was 13/100ths after 150 meters. Adler followed by Tunke. Next to touch is Natalie Tang. Still matching each other stroke for stroke are Tunke and Adler. Tunke touches just ahead of Adler. Natalie Tang trying to get herself back into the discussion, motoring along. The middle 2 still together, 0.3 of a second the difference. Adler trying to stretch it out just a bit. Tunke starting to lose a little bit of contact. But able to stay with her enough on the backstretch. Still within a half second. Now Tunke starting to make up a little bit of ground, going the other way. Adler, just methodical in how she's cutting through the water. And pushes the lead up to a second now with 150 to go. Or excuse me, with 100 to go. Tunke reaching back, trying to find another gear. As Adler continues to motor away. The bell sounds for Lauren Adler. Has a second and a half on Tunke. A race brewing here for third. McCarty against Tang. Tang will touch ahead of Sierra McCarty, but not by much. Adler's gonna win the race. Second there will be Tunke. McCarty trying to get back on Tang. It's gonna come down to the last 5 meters, but Tang gonna out-touch her. A great finish there from Sierra McCarty, but could not out-touch her in the end. And really just a matter of inches and seconds, not even 27 hundredths the difference between McCarty on one side and Tang on the other. But MIT will take the points. On the guys' side here, once again, a full field. Jack Bolte gonna swim this for MIT along with Gideon Karp and Jeremy Flint for the Jumbos. It'll be Ron Liebman, Godino, and Nick Montfort, all of whom we've seen swimming the 200 earlier today. Montfort with the slowest of the 3 seed times, though did win his 200 freestyle earlier in a come-from-behind fashion. Fastest seed time belongs to Ron Liebman. Godino in 4 is out well as well. The first to touch will be Montfort. Fading rather quickly are Liebman and Bolte. First to touch will be Godino. After him, Karp, then Flint and Montfort. Godino still leads as we come to 150 with the 2 engineers left and right of him. Liebman trying to remain in contact with the lead 4. Montfort struggling a little bit with some horizontal movement that's expending energy in a less efficient way. Starting to cause him to drop off a bit. Godino, Flint, then Montfort after 200. Godino continues that strong pace. Flint about a half stroke back, then Montfort. To the other side there is Gideon Karp. Fastest split once again belongs to Godino. Montfort continues to close distance with every length of the pool. Starting to gap himself from Karp. Godino will touch first through 300, then Flint, then Montfort. Another very nice turn from Nick Montfort, who is quickly catching Flint. Those three are clear and gone. Fourth surely gonna belong to Gideon Karp now. Godino has a lead of about a second over Flint. Another half second back to Montfort. A 100 to go for Daniel Godino. Montfort has now passed Flint on the backstretch. Jumbo's looking to see if they can go 1-2 here in the 500 free as Godino hears the bell. Montfort has really opened up a lead here from Flint, who has fallen off. Getting passed now by his own teammate in Gideon Karp. Godino homeward bound, got 15 to go. Montfort starting to claw back some of that lead, but he's gonna run out of real estate. It'll be Godino, then Montfort, and then Karp, 1, 2, and 3. Fourth will belong there to Flint, fifth to Liebman, and Jack Bolte will close out the 500. Adam Hoyt on the edge of the pool offering encouragement to his swimmers as we get set here for the 100 fly. Heat number 1, we'll have 2 engineers in Sarah Lou and Mary Griffin with Catherine Skelly, the jumbo, between them. And Skelly already ahead after the dive. Skelly with a half body length lead after 50. Her best time of the year, a minute 19 hundredths. Came through that first 50 in 27.97. Skelly looking to break her personal best on the air. Has some work to do. 10 meters to go now for Skelly. And she's gonna break it in style. More than 2 seconds under her personal best on the air for Catherine Skelly. Another heat right up to the blocks. This one with 3 jumbos and an engineer. The lone engineer, Chloe Zhu, in 3. Valeria Strohmeyer in 2. Lara Wijak in 4. And Sora Son in 5. So the 3 jumbo seniors gonna take on the engineer freshmen. Wijak with the fastest seed time, 56.88. And it shows she has the lead after 50. Little bit of some timing issues here. Seemingly showing 2 minutes on the clock. This is, however, the end of the 100, and it's gonna belong to Lara Wijak, who finally does win it in 58.10, the exact same time her teammate finished the last one in. final heat here will be a full one. Rachel Yang, Alex Turvey, and Lauren Levy for the engineers. Jade Fultenyi, Elena Harrison, and Angel Smirnu for the jumbos. As we set ourselves dealing with some minor technical issues here with the timing, but looks like we are moments away from getting going, and indeed, the swimmers are called to their mark. Turvey and Harrison, 3 and 4, the ones to watch. Harrison, the last to surface, almost 15 yards underwater. All 6 of them within a touch of each other at the 25-meter mark. But Alex Turvey starting to open it up just a bit. Smirnu with her, as is Harrison, but Turvey still in the lead, even with her teammates in lane 5 and Lauren Levy. 4 dead even with 25 to go. Harrison fading just a bit. Turvey coming hard, as is Smirnu. It's going to be to the touch, but I think Turvey got it. She did. Turvey, then Smirnu, followed by Levy. And you have to wonder if Angel Smirnu had a chance to do that over. Could she have won it? She did not get a second length in after being at the same spot as Turvey. Turvey got the second stroke in, and it made the difference. Will be the guys' turn now. 3 jumbos here in this heat 1. Jack Moore, Al Poscore, and Cole Aguirre, along with Jalen Evans, the senior from MIT, with his junior teammate Theo Chen. And they're off. Evans with a great dive. He's going to have the lead after 25. It is Evans, then Chen, followed by Husgore. Evans crusading through that water like a dolphin with a wide lead at the halfway point. Evans still leading as he turns for home. This is Evans' race, and we're all just watching it. No one within a body length of Jalen Evans. Coming hard now is Chen. He'll get second. Third will be Husgar. And MIT goes 1-2 in that heat. Heat 2 now up with a full field, including Ben Wu, of MIT in 3, and Ethan Shire for the jumbos, who has the fastest jumbo time on the year with 48:38. And it's those two in the lead as they approach the halfway point. 22 hundredths the lead for Woo at the halfway. Woo, Schreier, and also in 5, coming hard now, is Bryce Roberts. Schreier with a half-length lead to the wall, and the winner is Woo with a great 26-46 down the back. Schreier in second, third, Roberts. Waiting to see what those times end up being. None of them end up hitting the NCAA standard, but still impressive times with both Schreier and Woo going sub 50. There will be a 10-minute break here. When we come back, the final 2 events from Hamilton. Stay with us. welcome back here to Hamilton Pool. The finale of today's swim meet will be these final two events. It'll be the women's then men's 200 IM, followed by the 200 freestyle relay. First heat of the women's 200 IM, Lillian Pog, Christina Beggs, and Mary Felice for MIT, Claire Bailing, Sophia Knight, and Emma Kloss for the Jumbos. Fastest seed time in this heat belongs to Sophia Knight in lane 4. It'll be the butterfly first. And then they will come under and surface once again to finish out the butterfly. At the 50, it'll be Felice with the lead as they turn to the back. Felice, then Beggs. Out in lane 1 is Pogue. Beggs starting to make some ground up. Looks like she'll take the lead here after a really strong backstroke leg. They will turn again into the breaststroke. And Knight starting to make some ground up rather quickly. A breaststroker by trade. She is showing it here. It is Beggs followed by Knight, closely followed by Emma Kloss, out in 6. Kloss really starting to make up some ground. She might have the lead, in fact. Emma Kloss will touch first as they go to the freestyle. Kloss, then Beggs, followed by Knight. It is Kloss and Beggs. Kloss in 6, Beggs in 3. Stroke for stroke with 10 meters to go. Hard to the wall. It is Beggs on the touch. A great finish in that freestyle leg from Christina Beggs to win the medley. Second one is a full one again. Jessie Crane, Angelina Saganow, Ella Robertson, probably the favorite. Sydney Stass alongside her in 4. Anna Lee in 5, and Noah Chambers in 6. Robertson out very well through the first 25 on the fly. It is Robertson followed by Lee as they turn to the backstroke. Stats making a bit of ground here on the backstroke leg. Definitely on Lee. Robertson still with the body length lead. Pushing up to almost 2 now at the halfway point. It is Robertson with Stash chasing her as they continue to surface and submerge in this breaststroke leg. Stash definitely making up some ground now. Sophia Stass gaining on Robertson. They're going to be pretty much even with 50 to go in the freestyle. Stassen Roberson, stroke for stroke with 25 to go. Final turn and they head for home. Both sets of fans on their feet. Still stroke for stroke. Roberson uses those long arms and takes the win. MIT gets first and third with Roberson and Lee. A phenomenal finish there from Roberson down the stretch. And a pool record 2:05.22 for Roberson. It'll be the men's turn now. 3 engineers in this first heat, along with Evan Wang for the Jumbos. Pretty even for the first 25. Rodrigo Huang will touch first as they enter the backstroke. Struggling a little bit here in the backstroke is Wang. Huang, on the other hand, stroking out very well, but struggling to keep a straight line, which is costing him valuable energy. They turn to the breaststroke. Huang with a body length lead over everyone else. Wang holding his lead. Wang has moved comfortably into second now. In third is Brian Lee. And trailing is Luis Avonde. Body length lead for Huang as they enter the freestyle. Evan Wang starting to bring it into gear here. Roderick Wang still with the lead, but Wang starting to gain on him. Down to about a half body length lead, but that'll be enough. Roderick Wang will take heat number 1. The final individual heat of the day, the final heat of the men's 200 IM. Eric Lundgren and Connor Townsend for the Jumbos. Kelson Cantrell, Jason Wang, Hugh Grant for the engineers. Lundgren with a nice underwater. He's got Wang and Hugh Grant to either side of him. Hugh and Lundgren pretty even, as well as Wang. Backstroke leg does not seem to have changed much. Those 3 are clear and away. Falling off just slightly is Hugh. Lundgren very good in the breaststroke, as is Wang and Hugh. Townsend trying to get back into it. Wang still with the lead, up to about half a body length, over Hugh, then Lundgren. Lundgren probably the best freestyler of the 3, but I don't think he's going to be able to get this big of a gap caught. Trying to catch Hugh and Wang. But Wang just continues to fly through Hamilton Pool. And he looks set to close out this individual portion of the meet. Though here comes Hugh in 5 to the wall. It is Wang, then Hugh. Lundgren will take 3rd. 4th will be Townsend. And 5th will be Cantrell. And only one event remains, the 200 freestyle. There will be 2 heats on both sides. This first one will have 2 teams each. Jumbo's E will be in 2, their D will be in 4. Engineers E will be in 5, their D in 3. This is gonna fly. Leading off for the Jumbos, D is Alexia Palco Lacerda. For MIT, it's Jesse Crane. Allie Brown enters the pool for the Jumbos, who have a slight lead. She's up against Christina Beggs, who we've seen countless times today perform for the Engineers. And here she is once again, retaking the lead for the Engineers. Tunke in for the Jumbos against Miri Griffin for MIT. The anchors for each side, Lauren Levy, the junior for MIT, will face off against Laura Wijak, the Jumbo Superstar senior. Half body length lead for the Engineers with 50 to go. Wijak with a ridiculous underwater has caught up. Wijak and Levy even with 15 to go. Wijak coming hard. Levy holding on, and that'll be enough for MIT to take heat 1. And the final home race for this class of 2025 women's team is coming up. There'll be plenty of seniors on the relays. Emma Kloss will swim on 1, as well as Sierra McCarty on the C squad. Jillian Cudney, the grad student, as well. Jumbo's A is in 4, MIT A in 3. It's Alex Turvey against Bella Chambers, and they are literally identical through 50. Quincy Wheeler into the water for the Jumbos against Annika Naveen for MIT. Wheeler whipping through that water, bringing up a wake behind her. But still cannot shake Naveen, who might have a slight lead as they hand off to the 3rd leg. Emma Kloss into the water against Sydney Smith. Pretty even at the turn here. Anchor legs. Jillian Cudney for the Jumbos against Kate Augustine for the Engineers. Cudney trying to run down Augustine. Augustine with about a body length lead with 20 to go. Cudney is closing, but not fast enough. MIT gonna close this one out with a win. And a really phenomenal relay and a great end to their Hamilton Pool careers for the class of 2025. It'll be the men's turn to finish with the 200 free relay. Just like the women, 2 heats. First one with D&E squads, second one with A, B, and C. This Jumbo's D squad, also an F squad for the Jumbos, and MIT on the other hand, not going to put an E squad out there. This Jumbo's D squad, very young, Ron Leibman, Ryan Manson, Josh Harrison, and Nate Pfeffer for them. MIT gonna have Jalen Evans swimming in his 5th event today. Open up their D squad. He'll hand off to Flint. Leibman gonna hand off to Manson. Jack Nussbaum in the pool for the Jumbo's F squad. Lanes 3, 4, and 5 pretty even through 100 meters, but it looks as if it's going to be Ryan Manson handing off the lead to Josh Harrison. Harrison flying through the water like he's on a mission. The junior Nate Pfeffer waiting to anchor that relay home. Albert Shu will anchor the other Jumbo relay in the mix, and Aaron Zhu on anchor for MIT's D squad. Pfeffer with about a body length and a half lead. He will turn and head for home. 117, 118, 119, 120. Can Pfeffer bring this relay home under 130? Yes, he can. They come in at 127 and change. A great relay for the Jumbos. Absolutely exquisite. And here we go, the final event in Hamilton Pool for 2025. Each team gonna send up their 3 best relay squads to give it their all. The MIT A squad in lane 3, Thomas Wu, Bryce Roberts, Anthony Ko, and Eugene Sheng. The Jumbo's A squad in 4, Campbell McFall, Will Kaminsky, Ethan Schreier, and Soren Overard, who has not lost a race today. Six lanes making a lot of white water as they hurry down through the first 25. Jumbo's B squad in 2, led by Emmett Adams, gonna touch first. Arnon Sika on second leg for them. A squad now starting to make its mark. It's in second. The MIT A squad in third. Alex Gu into the water for the Jumbos. Ethan Schreier on third leg for the Jumbos A squad. But the Jumbos B squad with a not insignificant lead. Jumbo's B squad gonna hand off first with 50 to go. It's a 3-team race here down the final 50. Soren Overard in his final race here. Crowd noise deafening as the A squad for Tufts and MIT to the line. Touch! Jumbos get it. Jumbos go 1-2 to finish it off here at Hamilton. What an end. The difference in that race between first and third, 19 hundredths of a second. And really the perfect encapsulation of today's meet. What a meet and what a privilege it has been to call it for you at this time. I'd like to thank the other members of our production team, our director Noah Goldstein, and our wonderful cameraman Jason Strait. For them, I've been Riley Daniel here from the sauna that is Hamilton Pool, saying so long and stay home safely.